I thought I was going to a wedding, just another fancy party, free food, some drinks, maybe meet someone new. But the moment I walked through those glowing doors, everyone turned and stared. Not like I was a guest, like I was dinner. The bride? Not human, not even from Earth. And before I could run, they said I was the chosen one, the one she would marry tonight. Now I'm trapped on an alien planet with a vampire queen who says, "You are mine now," and if I say no, I die. Welcome to another wild story. My name is Michael, and I'm the voiceover artist for this channel. Let's begin. She wasn't supposed to be real, but I saw her, and she saw me. Blood-red skin, eyes like cold fire, armored like a warrior queen, standing in the middle of a wedding filled with monsters, and somehow, I was the one she chose. I came for snacks and music. Now I'm the groom, at a wedding that's not even human. And the worst part? I think I like it. But this didn't start in a palace. It started in a trash pile. With the girl they all ignored, the one who didn't belong, the one who changed everything. Jacob had always been good at showing up where he didn't belong. Wrong clubs, wrong jobs, wrong exes. But this time, he really outdid himself. The invite came 2 nights ago. Black card, glowing ink, no return address. Looked expensive, smelled like cinnamon and static. He thought it was a marketing gimmick, probably a rich client's wedding. Free food, champagne, maybe some lonely cousin to flirt with. Why not? He wore his only clean suit, grabbed his old hoverbike, and rode out past the city wall toward the industrial sectors where the sky turned gray, and the towers didn't blink anymore. That's when he found it. A castle. Not made of stone, but of twisted metal. Glowing panels. Old space junk welded into towers. It rose from a massive scrapyard, like a spaceship crashed long ago and decided to become a palace. Strange music echoed inside. Not Earth music. No lyrics, just whispers and hums that made your skin crawl. He should have left, turned around. But something pulled him in. He stepped through the main gate, and that's when everything changed. The guests didn't look human. They didn't even try to pretend. Tall, cold-eyed creatures with glass-like skin, women in dark gowns that floated without touching the floor. Men with shadows moving under their cloaks, like smoke trapped inside their bodies. And in the middle of it, all a girl. She wasn't the bride. She wasn't rich. She stood in a pile of broken scrap at the far edge of the hall, quiet, watching, invisible to everyone else. Red skin, silver hair in tight braids, armor that looked both ancient and futuristic. She was fixing something, a floating drone with cracked wings. No one spoke to her. They looked through her like she didn't exist. Jacob stared, not because of how she looked, but because she looked back, right at him, like she was expecting him. Their eyes locked, and in that moment, the drone floated, clicked once, and exploded into sparks. She didn't flinch. She smiled. Jacob tried to walk away, but the room had gone silent. A voice echoed from the top of the stairs. "The human has arrived. The prophecy begins." What prophecy? What human? Was this a prank? But then the crowd stepped aside, and the bride appeared. She was tall, beautiful in a deadly way, wearing a black crown that floated above her head, and her voice, "Bring the groom forward." Jacob laughed nervously. "This some kind of cosplay?" No one laughed. Two armored guards stepped toward him. Not fast, not angry, just calm, like this was always the plan. Behind them, the girl from the scrap pile stood still, watching, saying nothing. Jacob whispered, "What is this place?" The girl's lips moved. One word. "Yours." Then the lights went dark, the walls shook, and the doors locked with a sound like thunder. Jacob's world was about to change forever. And she, the girl no one noticed, she would be the one who changed it. Forever, Jacob's legs didn't move. His heart did, beating like it wanted out of his chest. Two guards, taller than anyone he had ever seen, stood on each side. Their armor was black and silent. No metal clanks, just whispers, like the armor itself was alive. They didn't drag him, they just walked beside him. And he followed. The guests moved aside, silent, eyes glowing, some in respect, some in hunger. At the far end of the hall, on a throne made of bones, wires, and glowing crystals, sat the bride. She was not just beautiful, she was terrifying. Red skin, deeper than fire, eyes silver like stars, and long claws resting on the armrest, tapping. Slowly. She looked at Jacob like he was a puzzle. A rare one. "You were not supposed to be here," she said, her voice calm, too calm. "But now that you are, the contract is sealed." Jacob blinked. "Contract? What contract?" She stood. The room pulsed when she did. A pressure, like air had been sucked out. "You opened the invitation. You walked through the gate. You passed the watchers. You looked into her eyes." Jacob shook his head. "Who is her?" The queen turned her gaze to the girl still standing by the scraps. The same girl who had watched everything said nothing. "She is the blood link, the one who carries the mark." The girl stepped forward, calm, graceful, but her armor still dirty from scrap dust. Jacob stared. "You? I don't even know your name." She smiled, a small, sad smile. "Ciri." Then she whispered, "And I know yours." The queen's voice echoed again. "You two are now joined by prophecy. If you flee, you both die. If you resist, the planet dies. If you marry, the stars live." Jacob laughed nervously. "Okay, that's crazy. This is crazy. I just wanted snacks." No one laughed. Ciri stepped closer. Not too close. Just enough for him to hear her heartbeat. Slow, steady. "They chose you, Jacob. But I watched you. I picked you." He backed away, but not fast. Something about her voice kept him still. She wasn't like the others. She wasn't cold. Her eyes didn't glow like theirs. She looked afraid, but strong under it. Ciri leaned in just slightly. "You don't know it yet, but you're not just human anymore." Jacob's throat went dry. "What are you talking about?" She lifted her hand, showed him her wrist. A small glowing mark, like a circle of fire under her skin. Then she took his hand, turned it palm up. The same mark began to appear, burning, slowly, like it had always been there, waiting. Jacob gasped. "What is this?" The queen answered. "It is the bond, the flame of the chosen. The wedding begins at moonfall." He tried to pull away. He couldn't. The hall exploded in cheers. Creatures hissed and roared, celebrating. Drums began to beat. Jacob wasn't a guest anymore. He was the main event. And across the room, Hidden behind every cheer, one figure didn't clap. A shadow, watching from the top balcony. A man with no face and burning eyes. He whispered something to himself. If he marries her, everything ends. Then he vanished. And below, Jacob had no idea. He wasn't just marrying into royalty. He was walking into war. The music grew louder. Drums pounded like war. Or maybe celebration. Jacob couldn't tell the difference anymore. He was pulled away from the crowd, through long, glowing corridors, walls shifting shape as he walked. One moment they looked like metal. Next, they breathed, soft, like skin. He didn't ask questions. What would he even ask? The mark on his hand still burned. Not painful, but warm. Alive. Ciri walked beside him now, silent, but not distant. She kept glancing at him from the corner of her eyes, studying him, like she expected him to vanish at any second. They entered a round chamber, dim lights, floating candles, strange runes glowing on the floor. Jacob whispered, "Where are we now?" "The blood room," Ciri answered. "This is where the bond becomes real." He took a step back. "Wait, I didn't agree to this. You said I could still—" "If you leave now," she said softly, "you won't just die. Your earth will be marked. Hunted." He looked at her, eyes searching, trying to see if she was lying. She wasn't. "They think you're the one," she said. "The only human who can carry the flame." He laughed bitterly. "I'm a janitor. I clean AI printer heads. That's it." Ciri stepped closer, held out her hand. "Let me show you." Jacob hesitated, then placed his hand in hers. The moment their skin touched, the mark on their wrists lit up bright gold. The flames shot across their veins, not burning, but humming, powerful. Images flashed into his mind, a war in the stars, planets burning, alien queens crying over dead kings, and one figure, human, holding a sword of light. Jacob. He pulled his hand away, gasping. "What? Was that?" Ciri looked down, almost afraid to speak. "Your future." Before he could answer, the queen entered. The door didn't open. She just appeared. No footsteps, no sound. "The first bond is complete," she said. "Now, the bite, Jay." Acob blinked. "The what now?" The queen smiled, not kindly. "You carry the flame, but to live among us, you must taste what we are." Two vampires stepped forward. One held a golden cup, the other, a silver knife. Jacob looked at Ciri. She looked nervous. "Will it hurt?" he asked. She nodded. "Yes." Jacob sighed. "Of course it will." The queen stepped closer. "This will change you. Forever." He took the cup. Inside, dark red liquid. Thick, almost glowing. Not wine, not human blood. Something older. Alien. He raised it, paused, and drank. Instant fire. His chest burned. Vision blurred. Every cell in his body screamed. He dropped to his knees, eyes turning gold, veins glowing like circuits. Then, silence. He rose slowly, breathing deep. He didn't feel weak. He felt alive. The queen stared, shocked. He took it and lived. Ciri stepped forward, her voice shaky. "He's not just alive. He's changing." Jacob looked at his hands. The mark had spread, now on both arms. Neck. Even his eyes reflected the glow. He looked at Ziri. "What am I becoming?" Before she could answer, a loud boom shook the entire palace. The lights flickered. Screams echoed from outside. The Queen's guards rushed in. "We're under attack!" From the shadows, a voice whispered, "Kill the groom before the bond is sealed." And just like that, Jacob's wedding turned into a battlefield. And he didn't even know who the enemy was. Yet, Jacob's heart raced. His vision sharpened. Sounds became clearer. He felt strong. He didn't understand it yet, but whatever he drank had changed him. The palace trembled again. Dust fell from the ceiling. Guards shouted orders, running past in a panic. Shiri grabbed Jacob's arm. "They'll come for you first. You have to run!" He shook his head firmly. "Run where? I don't even know where I am." She hesitated. Then her face hardened. "Then fight." Before he could protest, the chamber door exploded inward. 3 figures burst in, armored, armed, fast. Not guards, not vampires. Something else. Their armor was silver, faces hidden behind smooth helmets. Weapons hummed with energy, pointed directly at Jacob. "Kill the human!" one shouted. Jacob felt time slow. Instinct took over. He dodged the first attacker without thinking, moved faster than he thought possible, grabbed the attacker's arm, twisted, and heard the weapon clatter to the ground. The attacker swung again. Jacob caught his wrist and squeezed. Metal bent, bones cracked. The attacker cried out. Jacob threw him aside, stunned at his own strength. 2 others rushed forward, but Jiri was already there. She moved like lightning, drawing a blade from her armor. One swing, perfectly aimed, sent sparks flying, slicing through their armor. Jacob watched, amazed. Jiri wasn't just a quiet girl from the scraps. She was a warrior. The attackers fell back, wounded but not defeated. A deep voice echoed from outside the door. "Bring me the groom's head, or don't return at all." Jacob turned to Shiri. "Who is that?" Shiri's face turned grim. "General Kalen, a rebel leader. He wants the prophecy dead." Jacob's mind raced. "Prophecy? Why does everyone keep saying prophecy?" She glanced at him quickly. "Because you can end the war, or destroy us all." More footsteps, more attackers flooding into the chamber, too many this time. Jacob backed up. "Ziri, we have to go!" She nodded, grabbed his hand, and pulled him toward the back wall. Pressing her hand to the stone, it slid open. Secret tunnels, narrow, dark. They slipped inside just as the room flooded with Kalen's soldiers. Jacob stumbled through darkness, heart racing, breathing heavy. "How do you know these tunnels?" Ziri's voice was calm, controlled. "I grew up here, hiding, surviving." He looked at her closely. "You're not really royalty, are you?" She smiled softly. "No, I'm just the scrap dump girl, but I'm also the only one who knows these tunnels." Jacob felt admiration, trust, maybe something more. The tunnels twisted, turned, then finally opened into a massive underground chamber. Lights flickered softly. Machines hummed. Jacob gasped. "What is this?" Ziri looked around carefully. "The old world. This is where my people first crashed. Our history. Hidden from the Queen. She doesn't know it's here. Ancient ships, powerful weapons, technology he'd never dreamed of." Then he noticed something familiar. A huge screen showed Earth, his city, marked as a target. Jacob's stomach dropped. "What does that mean?" Ziri turned pale. The Queen is planning something big, something dangerous. You weren't brought here by accident. Jacob's voice shook slightly. You knew? She met his eyes, sad but honest. I had no choice. Until I saw you. Now I can't let her hurt your world. Jacob felt a wave of determination. Then we have to stop her. A new voice echoed from behind them. Cold, familiar, dangerous. Stop me? You're too late. The Queen stood at the tunnel entrance, surrounded by her loyal guards. Her eyes burned with anger and betrayal. You should have married quietly, Jacob. Now, I must destroy you. The room filled with weapons raised, pointed at Jacob and Ciri. And for the first time, Jacob realized. He wasn't just fighting for his life. He was fighting for two worlds. Jacob's pulse thundered in his ears. The Queen's guards aimed weapons at him and Ciri. There was nowhere left to run. You betrayed me, Ciri, the Queen said coldly, eyes glowing brighter. After all I did for you, Ciri stepped forward defiantly. You used me. You lied. You said we'd help Earth, not destroy it? The Queen smiled cruelly. Earth was always meant to burn. Jacob was just the key. Jacob clenched his fists, anger rising like a storm. I'm done being used. The Queen laughed softly, mocking him. You have no choice. Either join me or watch your planet die. Jacob glanced around quickly. He saw something move in the shadows. General Kalen's soldiers had found the tunnel. Jacob's mind raced. He whispered urgently to Ciri. We have to get them to fight each other. She nodded subtly, understanding. Follow my lead. Ciri raised her voice loudly, clearly. General Kalen, now! Chaos erupted instantly. Kalen's soldiers burst from the tunnel, weapons blazing. The Queen's guards spun around, surprised, firing back fiercely. Energy blasts flashed. Armored bodies fell. The ancient chamber turned into a deadly battlefield. Jacob grabbed Ciri's hand. Come on! We need to get to the controls! They ran through the smoke and chaos, dodging falling metal and flashing lasers. Jacob moved faster, stronger, more focused, his powers awakening. When they reached the control panel, Ciri began typing furiously. What are you doing? Jacob shouted over the explosions. Shutting down the Queen's attack, Ciri said. But I need more time. Jacob turned back to the fight. Then I'll give you time. He stepped forward, heart pounding, fists glowing with newfound energy. A guard rushed him, weapon raised. Jacob sidestepped swiftly, grabbing the guard's arm and throwing him into a stack of crates. Another charged with blades. Jacob ducked, grabbed the attacker's wabiawus. Jacob shook his head, still focused. Not yet. We have to end this. Suddenly, a blinding blast filled the chamber. Jacob and Ciri shielded their eyes as the room shook violently. When the light faded, the Queen was gone. Only her voice echoed behind, bitter and furious. You can't save both worlds, Jacob. You'll have to choose. The chamber fell silent. Smoke drifted. Soldiers lay scattered. Jacob turned to Ciri, heart heavy. What did she mean? Ciri looked at him, sadness in her eyes. She's activated the final weapon. Earth or this planet. One must fall. Jacob's breath caught in his chest. We have to stop her. Ciri nodded slowly, voice soft but determined. We can, but only if we finish the bond, if we become one. Jacob stared deeply into her eyes. Then let's finish this. Jacob's heart beat faster. The silence around them felt heavy, almost alive. Ciri gently took his hand. We must hurry. The weapon will fire soon. He nodded, swallowing hard. What do we need to do? Ciri guided him toward a glowing platform at the center of the ancient chamber. This is the bonding circle. Once we step inside, there's no going back. Jacob glanced at her, determined. I trust you." She stepped onto the circle, and he joined her. Immediately, a wall of light rose around them, humming softly. Ciri's eyes met his. "The bond will connect our hearts, our minds. It'll change us both, forever." Jacob squeezed her hand gently. "Let's save our worlds." She nodded and closed her eyes. A soft glow surrounded them both. Suddenly, Jacob felt Ciri's emotions flooding into him. Her fear, her courage, her deep loneliness, but also warmth. Hope. He saw memories flashing rapidly. Ciri as a child, hiding from guards, learning to survive alone. He felt her pain, but also her strength. She saw him too. Jacob's ordinary life, disappointments, hopes, and dreams. She felt his determination to protect Earth. And now, protect her. Their emotions blended into one powerful force. A burst of energy lifted them slightly off the ground, their bodies glowing with pure light. Then it faded, gently, leaving them standing together, changed. Jacob breathed deep, feeling stronger than ever. He looked at Ciri and smiled softly. She smiled back, calm, powerful, unafraid. The final bond was complete. But before they could speak, a massive explosion shook the palace above. A holographic map appeared, flashing urgently. Ciri's voice trembled slightly. "The Queen activated the weapon. We don't have much time." Jacob's eyes narrowed. "How can we stop it?" Ciri quickly checked the ancient consoles, speaking fast. "We have to reach the control room at the palace's highest tower. If we shut it down there, both worlds can survive." "Then let's move," Jacob said firmly. They sprinted through tunnels, moving swiftly, unified by their bond. Jacob felt new strength, new confidence. His powers were fully awake now. They reached a stairway, spiraling upward. Above, the sounds of battle echoed louder than ever. Reaching the surface, they saw chaos. The palace burned. Soldiers fought fiercely. In the distance, the tower glowed brightly, energy building at the top. Jacob pointed urgently. "There!" But suddenly, the Queen appeared in front of them, blocking their path. Her eyes burned with hate. "You've betrayed everything," she hissed at Ciri. "And you, Jacob, you think love can stop war?" Jacob stepped forward boldly. "We'll stop it together." The Queen raised her hands, dark power gathering again. "You're too late!" She unleashed a dark wave, hurtling toward them. Jacob and Ciri raised their hands together, their bond glowing brighter than ever. The dark energy slammed into their shield, pushing hard, trying to break through. But the bond held firm, protecting them. Jacob felt immense power, shared with Ciri. "We have to end this!" Ciri nodded firmly, eyes filled with fierce determination. "Together!" Their combined energy surged forward, shattering the Queen's darkness. She staggered, weakened, shocked. "How?" she gasped, falling to her knees. Jacob stepped closer, confident. "Because unity is stronger than hate." The Queen looked up slowly, eyes defeated. "Then finish it. Save your worlds. But know this, peace never lasts." Jacob took Ciri's hand firmly. "Maybe, but we'll fight for it." They moved past her swiftly, climbing the tower's steps as fast as possible. At the top, the glowing control room waited, energy crackling dangerously. Ciri raced to the main console, her fingers flying across the controls. Jacob watched nervously, feeling time running out. The screen flashed urgently. "Final launch in 10 seconds. Ciri glanced desperately at Jacob. "It's locked. We can only stop it one way." "How?" Jacob asked urgently. Ciri's voice shook slightly. "We overload it from inside, but it could kill us both." Jacob didn't hesitate. He squeezed her hand, eyes clear and calm. "Together." They placed their hands on the glowing console. Energy surged through them. Intense, painful, unstoppable. The countdown reached 0. The tower shook violently, glowing brighter than ever. Then exploded in a blinding flash. The world went white. Jacob opened his eyes slowly. Everything was blurry, quiet. He felt ground beneath him, solid, comforting. His body ached, but he was alive. He sat up slowly, looking around. Smoke drifted away, leaving clear skies above. They had done it. But where was Ziri? Panic surged through him. Ziri? Ziri, where are you? Silence. He stumbled through rubble, fear building. Then he saw her, lying motionless a few feet away. Jacob rushed forward, kneeling by her side. Her eyes were closed. She wasn't moving. Ziri, wake up, he whispered desperately. Please. He gently touched her face. Her skin felt cold. His heart sank. Then, slowly, her eyes flickered open. She looked at him, tired but smiling softly. You're alive. He nodded, relief overwhelming. So are you. Ziri slowly sat up, looking around. The weapon? Jacob smiled gently. We stopped it. She took a deep breath, leaning on him slightly. We saved them both. Earth and my world. Jacob hugged her tight, warmth flooding through him. Yes. Together. Around them, survivors slowly emerged from ruins. Guards, citizens, warriors. Watching them both silently, amazed, respectful. General Kalen limped forward, armor broken, weapon dropped. He bowed his head slightly, voice calm but humble. The war is over. We surrender. To peace. Jacob looked into Ziri's eyes, hope rising. It was finally over. Days passed quickly. Jacob learned about Ziri's world, her people, their struggles. They rebuilt together, both humans and vampires working side by side for the first time in history. And finally, the day came. The wedding, real this time, not forced. The palace was filled again, not with fear or betrayal, but celebration. Guests cheered joyfully as Jacob stood waiting, calm and confident. Kiri appeared, stunning in glowing armor, hair braided with golden ribbons. She smiled softly as she walked toward him. The queen was gone, banished forever. Now peace was their choice. Jacob held Ziri's hands firmly, looking deep into her eyes. I didn't expect to marry an alien vampire, but now I can't imagine anything else. She laughed softly, warm and genuine. You weren't exactly my first choice either. They both smiled knowingly. But now, she said quietly, you're my only choice. He leaned in gently, heart full, voice steady. Forever. They kissed as the room exploded with cheers and applause. The bond pulsed gently, stronger than ever. Days later, standing together beneath stars brighter than any on earth, Jacob held Ziri close. You know, he said, smiling softly, I accidentally attended your wedding once. She laughed warmly. And now? He smiled gently, looking into her eyes deeply. Now. It's no accident. They looked up together, stars endless above. Two worlds united, two hearts bonded forever. Jacob whispered softly, whatever happens next, we face it together. Ziri rested her head on his shoulder, peaceful. Together, always. Far away, Earth turned silently in space, safe, unaware of how close it had come to destruction. Jacob knew life would never be ordinary again. but he wouldn't want it any other way. He was more than human now. He was hope. And beside him stood the girl from the scraps, the one everyone had ignored, the one who had changed everything. Together, they had done the impossible. And somehow Jacob knew the adventure was just beginning the end.